council regular meeting order. Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Present.
Counselor Mellon. Present. Counselor Tulowitzki.
Present.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Present.
And Counselor Gardner.
Present. We can all rise for a moment of silence and then the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is my pleasure to turn the floor over to Chief Shekel for a special recognition for our police officers with 25 years of service. I would also like to mention that we also have an employee in the police department, Katie Tillman, who also reached 25 years of service, and she received her award earlier today.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tonight's very special. We have two officers, Sergeant DeLue, who's our midnight sergeant, and School Resource Officer Kevin Cooley, who have both reached a milestone in their career. 25 years of dedicated service to the town of Munster, and we just like to recognize them with their 25-year plaque. So Sergeant DeLue. We better go. And School Resource Officer Kevin Cooley. Oh.
Very nice.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. We kindly ask that all in-person public comment is limited to 2 minutes maximum per person, or 5 minutes to a group spokesman. Please keep your comments civil and constructive and related to public policy issues. In the event that questions are posed to the council, we will note your questions in the meeting minutes and will refer the questions to the appropriate department or staff for follow-up and response. Public comments may also be submitted electronically. If you do that, please direct those comments to danderson@munster.org. That is the email address of our town manager, Dustin Anderson. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Then please rise, come to the podium, please, and state your name and address. Thank you for coming forward.
Good evening. My name is Chris Hansen. My address is 8312 Columbia. Some of the dais may recognize my name from a series of emails that I've been sending back and forth to Dustin and other members of town of Munster government over the last year. This is all related to sale of a house in my neighborhood that happened last year. And when the new purchasers came in, they converted what was a single family house into a 2-family dwelling, which, based on my understanding of zoning laws, is not technically legal. No zoning variance was ever granted, because if there had been a zoning variance granted, other residents in the neighborhood would have received notice for a public hearing, which, based on the rules that I looked up for the town of Munster, is required. I also know for a fact that no building permits were pulled for the significant renovation work that was done on the house, including structural, electrical, plumbing, and running new gas lines to convert the basement into an apartment. The house remained empty for the better part of 9 months. And then about 4 months ago, when I reconnected with Dustin Anderson, they had a tenant who had moved into the basement and is currently living there. I'm not looking to make trouble for any of the people that live in that building right now. But my concern, and the concern of other people who live in the neighborhood, is how allowing this type of thing to go forward will affect our property values, because it will, and in a negative way. I also communicated with Dustin the name and home address of the person who bought the house. The gentleman lives in St. John. He has 2 school-age children who are dropped off at school in the morning and picked up in a silver minivan at the house every afternoon. So this is really nothing more than a residency hack to get their kids into Munster High School. This was all communicated to Dustin. He assured me that everything was investigated and nothing was happening that was wrong, incorrect, or illegal. Based on my reading of the town rules, based on my reading of codes, that statement is patently false. So I know this is not a venue where any of this is going to be addressed, but I promised Dustin that I would be coming to these meetings on a regular basis to address this until something is done, because it's not satisfactory to me as a resident of this town to have to deal with this kind of stuff when I go through the proper channels. As some background, I grew up in Lansing, so I know firsthand how skirting residency rules and packing the school with kids who don't actually live in the municipality can affect housing values, quality of the education, all in a negative way. I moved to Munster about 16 years ago, and it's a great community. My kids have had a wonderful experience in the schools. I'm a youth baseball and football coach, have been for about 10 years. So I'm heavily invested in the community, and I wish that there was a little bit more emphasis put on solving this problem in some way. It just seems as though it was pushed off to the side because maybe it was too difficult and nobody wanted to have an uncomfortable conversation with the gentleman who bought the house. And from my mind's eye and from where I sit and the other people in the neighborhood, this is garbage. That's all I got.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Hanson.
I'll be back next month.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak to the council during the public comment section of the meeting? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes. There is no old business, new business. Ordinance 1912. This is the additional appropriation of funds for the year 2023. There is a memo in the packet. Is there anything that you'd like to add to the memo? Clerk Treasurer Miss.
No, there are four funds that need additional appropriations. We're looking to make sure that we have the authority to spend this money before year end.
Very good.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to hear proposed ordinance 1912 for additional appropriations on first reading and schedule a public hearing and second reading for September 18, 2023.
Second. There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Next on the agenda is with the item B, Lake Michigan Coastal Program Grant Agreement. There is a memo that's in the packet that was added in the last couple of days or so.
It was added late. My apologies
Okay,
to council.
just add, give us an update on the memo, please.
For the benefit that of council and those in the audience, you may be familiar that the town has reconstructed Beverly Place from State Line to Holman Avenue. We were able to do that with a 50-50 matching grant from the state of Indiana. One of the key elements of that improvement to our community was the installation of some bioswales and some improved stormwater management techniques. The Indiana Department of Transportation said that's a good idea, but these funds can't be used for that particular element of this project. So we went out and we found a grant with the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, and they said, well, we'll give you 50% of that. The projected cost of those total improvements is $159,060. So we applied. Congratulations to staff. I'm just delivering this good news. I did not do any heavy lifting on this. So this is really the work of Jill and Tom. And that grant was awarded and we have won $79,530 for the projected improvements. Because this is a grant and there's an agreement, I am looking for your permission to execute that agreement.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would authorize the town manager to enter into an agreement with the Lake Michigan Coastal Program to award the town $79,500.
Second. There's a motion, a second, any discussion?
Good job solving the hole of $80,000. I'm wondering, so the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, have we gotten grants from them before? Have we worked with them?
We have indeed, they were the, pardon?
Just said some big ones.
Yes, the last time we worked with them before this was the Calumet and Ridge Streetscape plan, which was initially kicked off to look at stormwater interventions, and we were able to accomplish a bit with that.
Is it primarily the stormwater things that
Mhm.
let us work together with them?
Yep.
Okay. This is a good expansion of that relationship with them, and hopefully we can
Yeah.
continue.
I hope so.
There has been some money from the Lake Michigan Coastal Grant Program that has gone into Heritage Woods and some of the tree management programs in the past also. So it's a program that is available to all municipalities within Lake County and this Lake Michigan coastal area. And it's a good grant to always pursue. Very good. Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Moving on to item C, this is the. Let's see, where is it? The pulse copier replacement proposal.
Yep.
And there's another memo here from the town manager. Anything that you'd like to add to the memo?
We last re-upped our copiers in 2016. It was a 5-year lease, much like is proposed here. So we had if you'll recall, council authorized a 2-year maintenance agreement, an annual maintenance agreement that we used for 2 years because the machines were working. They are not really working to ensure business continuity. And they're getting to the age where you can't really get parts. You have to like Franken part it together, and they're stealing from other places that decommission copiers. It's really not the way you want to run an organization of this size and complexity. So we are proposing to re-up those copiers with the same or better functionality. And we're looking for your permission to do that. If you have any questions or you want us to take a different tack, we'd be happy to do that too.
Very good. There's a recommendation from the council.
Mr. President, I move that we authorize the town manager to enter into an agreement with Pulse Technology for the lease of 8 new copiers.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion, a second, any discussion?
I have a question. So we're just gonna be leasing these for 5 years?
And then we'll own them.
And 5
Yes.
outright? Or do we have to pay anything?
Well, it will depend on how they're being maintained. It will probably be a situation where what we would, if we are still using them and we want to keep them for a couple of years, have a layer of protection for on-call service like we did in 2021.
Thank you. Hopefully we have questions.
Very good. No other questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Item D, this is the joint interlocal and mutual aid agreement for the South Lake County Crash Reconstruction Team. There was a memo from Chief Shekel. Chief, you're here. Anything you'd like to add to the memo?
No, it pretty much sums it up.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that the town of Munster join the countywide crash team and sign the memorandum of understanding.
Second. There's a motion, a second, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the disposal of property from the police department. Lieutenant Broman, would you like to add anything to your memo? No, it's pretty self-explanatory.
About we authorize the police department to destroy list of property and remove the same from our current inventory.
I'll second.
Very good. There's a motion second. Any discussion?
Self-explanatory.
Seeing nothing, or hearing nothing, roll call please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Next on the agenda, the police department purchased multi-key encryption for Motorola radios.
Say that again?
This is from Lieutenant Johnson, but is there anything that the chief or lieutenant would like to speak?
It's
to us?
pretty no, I'm joking. Basically, what happened is Illinois departments encrypted their channels. As a result of them doing that, if we want to speak with them, we have to purchase this key encryption, which goes on our radios.
Very good. There is a recommendation in front of the council.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I move that we approve the quote to purchase the Munster Police Department the encryption key feature to the portable radios for a grand total of $22,990.
Second.
There's a motion, a second, any discussion?
I'm just curious, is this a one-time fee or is?
Yes, it's a feature we have to add to the radio.
And the Lansing and Illinois Police Departments, they know that we're communicating with them?
Well,
It's kind of a dumb question, but
Yeah.
they've upgraded their policies, so in order to communicate with them, do they need to know that we're gonna cooperate this way or tune into their channels?
they know that already, and we've had long-standing agreements with them.
Very good. Any other discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes. New business item G, this is the Public Works Department talking about a service agreement for fuel tank pump inspections. There is a memo in the board packet from Director of Public Works, Steve Gunty. Is he online or
He is.
would he like to add anything to his memo?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
There is a recommendation from the council.
Mr. President, I make the motion to approve the service agreement quote from B and K Equipment to provide a monthly walkthrough inspection of the town fuel tanks. The cost being at $120 monthly for a total cost of $1,548. And that'll take us through July 2024.
Thank you.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just curious if this is a requirement for a monthly inspection and report. I'm assuming it is.
Steve, the question was, is this a mandate by the state for a monthly inspection and report?
Yes, it is. They have various requirements that we need to meet. First of all, can you hear me? I don't know if the speaker. Can you hear me?
Yes, everyone can hear you, Steve.
Thank you. Okay. First time I've used this device on the computer. Yes, item whom we report to for compliance with these 2 underground storage tanks does require all sorts of different types of reports and testing mainly. So this will take our service that has been previously as needed, where we might find something and we hire a company, usually B&K, to fix it, to a more systematic, regular approach.
Okay, good. So we're going from ad hoc to a now monthly and coming in compliance with.
All right, very good. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Letter.
Thank you.
Moving along, change order number 1 to the CCMG 22-2 Camellia, Beverly and White Oak project. There's a memo from our deputy town manager. She's not here tonight. Mr. Anderson, anything to add to the memo?
No, nothing, no color commentary from me.
And Mr. President, I would move to approve change order number 1 to the contract for the paving and water main improvements on White Oak, Camellia, and Beverly, the Community Crossing Matching Grant 22-2, in the amount of $144,959.22.
Jill,
I'll second that.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Jill is available for questions. She is online. So if you did have a technical question, we can answer that.
Is this, does this complete the project, this one change order, or is the project still moving along?
The project is still going on. As Dustin mentioned earlier, the work on Beverly is pretty much complete except for the bioswale plantings, and White Oak Avenue is done. There were some substantial overruns on certain quantities, and Milestone wants to get paid for that. And so in order to do that, we have to have this change order go through. We wait till the end of the contract. So there will be another one.
Were the items that were overruns, were there was it additional materials or additional scope of the services that we were doing, or underground deficits that we found that we had to add stone to that part of it all?
Yeah, so there was an undercut. You guys are used to seeing that. That contributes to this cost. And also there was just a bust in the quantities that they got undercounted in the bid form. So we put in more curb than we had planned to, or we had thought we were going to put in. And so that's where the most of the cost is coming from, is the curb.
So for the benefit of the audience, an undercut is when you rebuild a road and you find the base of the road has bad soil. So you have to cut that bad soil out and put in more rocks so the road, when it's constructed, lasts as long as it should.
Any other questions?
Just note that with the bioswale on Beverly and with the speed team, traffic calming measures on White Oak, this particular project brought some innovative things. So not just repaving and rebuilding the road, but doing something different and modern that we'd like to do more of.
Good, thank you. Any other discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Letter I, proposal for engineering services for CCMG. It's the Community Crossing Matching Grant Program 23-2 paving. See, there is a memo from Deputy Town Manager Jill D. Tomaso. Anything that you'd like to add to this memo?
This is, we applied for more money from NDOT to do some more paving work. And we need to get a jump on the engineering, because once we get awarded that work, once we get awarded the grant, which we expect to happen this fall, we have 4 months to get it out to bid. So I've asked SEH for a proposal to do the engineering for these 4 streets.
Very good, thank you.
In that case, with haste, I would authorize the town manager to engage SEH of Indiana LLC to provide engineering services for the 23-2 CCMG paving project for a lump sum fee of $61,200, and provide resident project representative services on an hourly basis not to exceed $24,100.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion, a second, any discussion? I would like to call out and thanks for including, especially along Terrace and Forest Avenue, that we actually specifically call out traffic calming review of areas, especially there in the northern part of town. So I think that's a great project to be looking at as we do these road improvement projects, and it's nice that those are continued to be in the discussion in the planning stage.
I drive down Beverly on at least a weekly basis, if not more often than that. And when it was opened up and they took all the barriers down and the new curbing was there, I found myself obviously driving slower, because the entrance to Beverly is smaller because of the pump outs. And I think that's great.
Very good.
Thank you.
And when Ken drives slower, it's something.
Thank you, Counselor.
No, I'd like to reiterate what you said,
I was gonna say, nobody's ever said that before.
Mr. President, reiterating your comments about Terrace Drive, I'm not sure that everyone knows, this is one of the connections with, our neighbors across the state line. And so having the speed team look at traffic calming in that area in particular is of importance.
Very good. Thank you. Any other discussions? Questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Mellon,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis,
Yes.
and Counselor Gardner.
Yes. Letter J, this is the proposal for geotechnical services for the 2024 street paving and water main improvement projects.
So in addition to using CCMG money to pave those 4 streets in the last agenda item, we are looking at doing some more paving along Franklin Parkway, Chestnut, Holly, Camellia, and White Oak Avenue. There's a map in your memo. Those will also include, except for on Franklin Parkway, the other streets will include water main work. And we like to know, if we can, to the best that we can, what's underneath the road before we pull it up and try to repave it to possibly avoid costly undercuts. So this proposal is from AES to give us 15 pavement cores and soil borings that will assess the underground conditions on these corridors so that we can make the best decisions for how we're going to fix the roads.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. President, oh, you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
I move to authorize town manager to sign the proposal from Advanced Engineering Services in the amount of $18,940.
I second the motion.
There's a motion, a second, in discussion.
Only to ask, we're gonna be grading some alleys as well. Next year. Is that already agreed? I mean, we already approved that, or is some of the short street alleys we were talking about? And, you know, there are no alleys on this list.
This list is only for the water main and street work that we're working on next year.
Okay. Obviously, water mains don't go down those.
Right.
alleys.
I mean, if I think it's a good question and a good thing to keep top of mind are alleys. A lot of neighborhoods in town have alleys, and they are in various shape. We have typically used community development block grant and some other funds to address those. I can produce a list of the alleys that we anticipate addressing in 2024 if you'd like.
Yes, we have submitted an application to the county for that, for alleys.
Yes.
Mr. President, I just want to point out that the earlier change order that we had, as we had discussion about the undercut, and that was around $144,000, not just the undercut, but part of that. I think this is a good example of learning from that, and this less than $19,000 to learn before we burn is a wise choice, and it's appreciated taking this step.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes. That concludes the new business. Under reports, I'd like to call everybody's attention. There is a frequently asked question document. It's about 4 to 5 pages or 3 to 4 pages. It talks about the frequently asked questions about the West Lakes train corridor project. It's in the agenda packet tonight. It's also on our website, munster.org, and you can go see that there. We anticipate this will answer a lot of questions. It won't answer all of the questions. And we encourage residents to contact the town manager's office or the council with other additional questions. We'll be happy to answer those for you. Is there anything else on the reports or portfolio reports from the council?
Mr. President, I'll just piggyback on that's train related as the RDA, as the appointment to the RDA TOD steering committee. We are having a work study next Monday at 7:30 p.m. to discuss possible possible development around the train stations here in Munster. So that is a public meeting, and
That would be where?
it is here, right? 7:30 p.m. 7:30. And, yes, that is a public meeting, and I was the 6 months. Can't remember, so that's all I have.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I'd just like to, highlight and say thank you to staff, I guess, and council, to us for putting together these frequently asked questions. We get lots of questions about the train, and it's very nice now that this is also on the website and in this meeting packet where people can go for factual information. And it just reminds me to point out the news you can use that came into everyone, most people's homes, so you can. So most people's homes had a nice write-up on the cover about the 5 Rs project, or renew, reconnect, and reinvigorate.
Imagine.
Reimagine.
Reimagine.
The drill project. So it's good to have some of these factual documents out there where people can go. So thank you for doing this.
Very good. Any other reports from the council? Announcements, again, we do have that work study on Monday, September 11th. That's at 7:30 in the town council and town hall. Yes.
Councilor Nolan has something.
I was just gonna add, maybe we should mention the Civic Foundation event on Sunday. It's at the Cascade
Monarch Fest.
Monarch Festival. Yes, it's from 12 to 4 p.m. The Civic Foundation, the resident volunteers and the council and staff have been putting a lot of effort into helping with the monarch population. And as I'm sure you all know, and you've read other places, it's very important. And we're going to do some butterfly releases, and it should be a good event. And it's supposed to be a beautiful day, so come out with the friends and families.
They fly like 2,500 miles from here down to the avocado fields in Mexico. So just like someone running a marathon needs some encouragement.
Yeah.
Courage to
Go, go.
go.
Very good.
Thank you, Steve.
Value added.
Okay. Our next regular town council meeting and regular redevelopment commission meeting will be on September 18th. That is a Monday night. That meeting will start at 7 o'clock. Seeing that there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we will quickly move into our redevelopment commission meeting. We have Mr. John Castro here. As he walks up, we will change agendas here. Be ready to move in just a second. I would like to call the regular redevelopment commission regular meeting on September 7th to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon.
Present.
Commissioner Mellon.
Present.
Commissioner Tulowitzki.
Present.
Commissioner Kulturitis.
Present.
Commissioner Gardner.
Present.
Liaison to the school board, John Castro.
Present.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you all. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the redevelopment commission? Seeing none, I'll entertain, we'll move into the consent agenda.
We'll accept the consent agenda as given.
Second. There's a motion, a second, to accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon.
Yes.
Commissioner Mellon.
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Commissioner Kulturitis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes. There is no old business. I don't see any new business. There's any reports from the council or from the commission? No announcements. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.